Smokefree Ambassadors are community leaders. They share their voices for every Alaskan's right to breathe clean indoor air, at work and in public places.
My name is Kusano, and I'm a radiation oncologist, so I work exclusively with cancer patients. It is, in 2018, to not have sound statewide public policy that protects people against the dangers of secondhand smoke when we know that it is harmful. For me, that's a difficult thing to wrap my mind around. And I am a proud Alaskan, born and raised here. I went to elementary school across the street and grew up in a family that owned a small business. And to think that we are not protecting people in their workplace when we know the harms, it's really challenging for me to understand why that is. Being a cancer doc, I work with a lot of patients that have lung cancer, and so the efforts of the American Cancer Society and also the American Lung Association on the important issue of a safe workplace is something that I've been very, very strongly supportive of. Part of it's also informed by my previous experience far before I ever gotten into medicine. I came from a family that owned a restaurant for 25 years, and I'm old enough to remember when we opened up in 1982, that was a time where a smoking section and non-smoking section could easily be defined by a small little screen in the middle of the room, all within the same room. So as a little kid, I remembered very vividly, even then, that it didn't completely make sense to me. And even in 2018, knowing everything that we know about smoking and more importantly, the secondhand exposures, the effects that it can have on people, I think it's really, really important to continue to fight towards providing a safe workplace for people. So for me now, being on the flip side of it, no longer being in the restaurant business, but on the other side where I'm treating people that develop lung cancers, you know, it is not uncommon to meet somebody that has never smoked their whole life. They had a spouse that smoked all the time. They worked in an area where they were exposed to these things. It does happen where people develop lung cancer, and independent of lung cancer, it has negative effects on their lung health. And if you have kids at home, taking home all of that extra smoke on your clothing, we know that that can affect their respiratory development. So all of the myriad of health reasons, you know, the way that I look things now through the lens of being a doctor, it focuses me more on the importance of really sound public health policies. You know, when you talk to somebody that's tried to quit smoking dozens and dozens and dozens of times, it makes you realize it's not just easy enough to sort of say, you know, you got to quit. So I think when we're talking about improving cancer outcomes, improving lung outcomes, just the general public health, we've got to realize that it's going to take a whole lot more than just telling a person you got to quit. And that's where the public health policy aspect comes in. So it's not even debatable. Everybody knows that tobacco smoke is bad. And the public opinion on this issue is not one where it's marginal. It's pretty clear that people feel like they deserve to work, eat, enjoy public spaces in a safe manner. But when we can sit around a table and all look at the same facts and data and can agree that we need to do something, the most effective way for that to roll out and have an impact on everybody is for the public and lawmakers to create policy, you know. And so that in smoking is the prime example of that. If we just left it to the individual, to sort of say, well, I'm only going to smoke when I'm outside of the restaurant, or I'm only going to smoke in this section of the restaurant, that does nothing for all of the people around them. And so it really comes down to policy regulations to protect all of us.
This Smokefree Ambassador Profile Series is a project of American Lung Association, American Heart Association, and American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. It was made possible through funding from the Americans for Non-Smokers' Rights Foundation.